In this lesson, we will be looking at how to improve the experiences of the end users. When we think about the benefits and the improvements, there are improvements for several different groups within this context. We have the IT personnel that will see the fruit of their work and the results and the outcomes that they're able to enable for end users. They will be more motivated by seeing this ITXM work produce the wanted end results. We have the IT teams that will be able to celebrate success and see how their common focus on experience leads to really positive outcomes for the end users and the business. The employees that are relying on IT to do their work, they will feel better at work, as we know that the IT experience is a central part of the modern employee experience. So they will feel more motivated, they will be more productive, and this in turn leads to the whole organization, the business, seeing improvements and the value that IT is able to bring to them. Now, it is important to note that the utilization of the ITXM principles, the maturity level of the company may have a little bit of an impact on how quickly you should move and how quickly you should expect to see those improvements. In an organization where the culture, the general culture within IT, is not so ready to adopt and utilize experience as a key metric and a focus for IT, it might take a little bit longer time to build that culture and to build that maturity internally before you can start expecting a faster pace of improvements coming. Once IT has become more human-centric in their approaches, having built that momentum, having built over time trust for the data, trust in the fact that the data shows important things that matter to end users, and hence being able to improve those specific aspects, at that point, moving fast on the ITXM journey becomes much easier. How can IT then improve and make sure that it happens on a continuous basis in the long run? One of the first things is to set clear objectives. And by objectives, you should think of these as guiding principles that are specific enough so that IT workers, when seeing these objectives, would know what to do without being specifically told in detail the very task they need to do, but they know what they're aiming at. And once those objectives are clear, then you can set targets, which then in turn measure the result, the positive end result, when experience has improved. And understanding both what is important, what we're striving towards, and also what's the measure of success, at that point it becomes easy to then let different parts of IT create improvement initiatives on their own, which are aligned with the objectives measured by the targets. As this cycle goes on and the measure, share, identify, improve, continuous improvement cycle goes round and round, that's when IT can celebrate success. And the celebrating success is an important part. Often in IT, it might be easy to focus on the negative things, the escalations, all the things that could be done better, but forgetting to celebrate the good things, forgetting to celebrate the small wins and the big wins. So celebrating success not only creates motivation for IT teams, but also shows openly the value that IT brings to the business. When thinking about rules of thumb, then you can apply when improving IT services based on ITXM principles. One of the first ones is go slow to go fast. Give ITXM some time. It does take some patience and it takes trial and error at times to be able to find out what works for IT when they look at the IT experience data and look for those improvements and go through the improvement cycle. When you start understanding how improvements happen and you start seeing that there is a clear process behind it and it starts being scalable, and you start having a good baseline of what the experience is in any level of granularity within the IT and among the end users, at that point it can be interesting to start setting XLAs. This agreed upon expectation and agreed upon anticipation of what the right level of experience should be for IT. And in the next lesson, we'll look into a little bit more into what XLAs are and what we believe at Happy Signals that they are not. As closing remarks for this lesson, the key takeaway from this lesson is that start small, move slow, to later be able to move fast and achieve big things. This means celebrating even the small successes in the beginning, showing the organization how IT experience data drives direction and how it leads IT teams with a common focus. Really, the outcome of IT, when measuring the value and the impact that IT is having, is by looking at the outcome being the experience and productivity of the end users. And remember that this moving slow to move fast later might mean that you get a first burst of quick wins in the beginning of the journey, but then you need to build up that maturity and culture over time. But give it time, be patient, and just trust that by focusing on the outcomes, the experience, you will improve over time. And at that point, you will be able to celebrate success.